Welcome to This Week in Colorado Soccer, the Decade in Review show. Eric Poloni alongside head coach Danny Sanchez. A countdown of the top moments from each of the last 10 seasons of Colorado Soccer. Coach.
It's exciting, and I've been here for 8 of them, so it seems like I just got here. So, but I was actually aware of Colorado Soccer before I got here, so I'm familiar with the first couple years as well. So I think it's going to be an exciting show today.
I think it'll be fun. Hopefully everybody had a great holiday season, and here we are, New Year's Eve. So countdown just seemed, it was the Seth's idea. It was like, we should do a countdown of some sort.
Every now and then Seth has good ideas, and this is one of them.
It's just, everybody else is doing countdown shows. Why not us?
So
anyway, let's start off 2010.
Yes.
2 years prior to Danny Sanchez, but the program was around. I was around.
You've been here for a long time.
That makes me old. The program's only win over a top 5 team at Texas A&M.
Yeah, I remember watching the highlights of it. Lizzie Herzl was a back, and when I got here in 2012, she became an all-conference level back. But at the time, the staff threw her up at center forward, and she blasts a volley in the goal in overtime in the Big 12 for a big win at Texas A&M, which is a tough place to win.
And then in 2011, Buff's first Pac-12 win at Cal on the road. Talk a little bit about that game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a struggle coming into the Pac-12, as we all know, and the game before, our goalkeeper, Annie Bruner, may have got the card that you get that's red, then you don't get to play in the next game. So Kayla Millar came in, a walk-on from UCCS, and made a bunch of saves. And Haley Hughes used her pace and got behind and had a big win at Cal, which was any win in the Pac-12 is great, but against an NCAA tournament team on the road is a great moment for Haley.
And then in 2012, a young lad named Danny Sanchez graced us. Younger lad. Graced us from Wyoming, and in his first season
in the Pac-12 was a little rough. We had some good results. We lost in overtime to Washington. We lost in overtime to Cal. We were beating Stanford 1-0 with 8 minutes to go, and Don Treneman did his infamous, I think we're going to win. And as the words were hanging in the air, they scored 2 goals to beat us 2-1, and they went on to the national championship that year. Or Final Four.
Is that why he's at Missouri now? Is that the real reason?
It didn't help. That's the 4,000th time I've told that story, so I'm really blaming it on him. But we went on the road, UCLA, and lost a 2-1 game. Played very competitive. So on Sunday, we played USC, which is obviously a very good team. And Amy Barzik, one of the all-time Buffs, started at center back and held the shutout the first half. And then the second half, I moved her to center midfield, and we had a little more attack and kept the shutout going. And I said, you know what? To Jason and Don at the time, I said, let's throw her up top. And as I am the coach, as the words are hanging up there, she scores the goal, and we get our first Pac-12 win of the season and our staff's first Pac-12 win. So it was a great moment for Amy and a great moment for the Buffs.
And then in 2013, things improved.
Yes.
Beat DU and BYU in the NCAA tournament to make it to the team's second all-time Sweet 16 appearance. Played BYU down at Florida State, but let's talk about that DU game. That senior class had not beat DU in their 4 years, and that was the year of the flood. And I remember after losing, the game got moved to DU, the regular season match, and I remember the players saying, don't worry about it. We'll beat him in the tournament.
Well, I don't know if I had the same level of confidence because they rolled over us 3-0 in that September match. But, we did the work at the end of the season and did some work in good Pac-12 to get in the tournament. And that was probably DU's best team ever with Kristen Hamilton, who's now the national team and NWSL standout. And, we went down there and we really competed and played well and drew a foul with about 5 minutes to go, I believe. And Annie Stuller, a Boulder Fairview legend, and her parent hosts us every year for a preseason meal. We appreciate that, Stu and Sue Stuller. She stepped up, and you could see the third player on the wall. She wanted nothing to do with Annie Stuller free kick because, as you mentioned, all the players knew each other. There were a ton of Colorado kids, and she stepped up and drilled that thing and took a little deflection and won the net, and then we hung on for dear life for the last 4 or 5 minutes and advanced the NCAA tournament. And I remember the moment in the locker room after, and for a team that has struggled for so long and these seniors and have an opportunity to advance the NCAA tournament.
2014, BYU in the first round here, and we call that one Snow Classico 2.
We got in the tournament. We had a great season. We had a tough draw with BYU, but we had them at home. And once again, credit to our field guys. Worked all night and all day on the field and got it ready to play. And, that BYU team has Ashley Hatch, who's on the national team now, and 4 or 5 other players that were NWSL draft picks. It was a loaded squad, and and we just it was our day. Olivia Papalardo scored a great goal. I think her second goal of the season, and it had been a while since she had scored. And then Maddie Krauser got one early in the second half. And we defended great. Kate Sheely in goal, Tori Cooper, Bianca Jones, the center backs, Brooke Rice, Kalia Hogg. All the backs were awesome. And it was a great moment, a great win, and a great support. I don't know what highlights you're going to show, but there may be a moment of my wife tackling people on the sidelines in the snow. It was a great day for the Buffs and a great win in the NCAA tournament at home.
It was very cold, and I remember I was helping shovel, and it wasn't because I was trying to be a good guy. It was just because I was trying to keep warm because it was that cold.
Yeah, it wasn't warm.
Well, moving on, 2015, a thrilling 2-1 overtime win here at Prentup Field against number 14 Cal. Overtime games, when you're playing ranked teams like that, anything can happen, and when it gets down to golden goal, sudden victory, because you can't say sudden death.
No, we have to be positive, keep everybody happy. Yeah, as we all know, as our loyal TWICS followers show, the 2015 was a bit of an up and down season for us. And we did have really good moments. We had a super talented squad that turned it around 2016 that we'll talk about in a minute. But this is probably our biggest win of the year. Cal was a very good team. Once again, NWSL, a lot of players from that team that are still playing in the league. And we got an early goal from Brittany Stark, a local product out of Broomfield, and then they equalized, and we got into overtime, and Emily Paxton got us the game winner, and it was a great win. Unfortunately, we didn't keep the momentum going the rest of Pac-12 play, but as we know, Pac-12 play is brutal. So, but we did get it was a great win for us for that season, and something kind of maybe a little precursor as we headed into 2016.
2016, a great year. Had some great conference wins, both on the road and at home. Beat Cal at Cal. You beat UCLA here on an Emily Bruder goal, which at the time she had struggled a little bit, had a little bit of a dry spell, but we're like, she's going to get that one goal, and there it was, and beat UCLA, and then ended up home against Oklahoma State in the NCAA tournament. A great game. Danica Evans capped it off. Touch around the keeper and finished, and a great celebration.
It was a great comeback. Our motto that year was "Stronger Together," and we really bonded after a tough 2015 season. And you mentioned the Cal game. We were up 2-0. Danica had scored both goals, and as per our tradition at Cal, we decided to let them back in the game, and they scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes, and then almost scored as the time expired. And we got to overtime. We got to the second overtime, and Stephanie Zuniga, a Bay Area product, drew a foul around midfield, and we said it's time. And she didn't have to look at us, and she let the clock run down, and she bombed it in the box, and Taylor flicked it in, and we scored with 2 seconds left, 1 second left. Maybe one of the most exciting wins I've had at Colorado. Just the fact dropping the 2-0 lead, but still staying it mentally to win it at the death was a great win for us. And then we turned around next game. Against UCLA at home, and like you mentioned, Emily Bruder had been kind of up and down, but she was starting to hit her stride. She scored a great goal against a very good UCLA team to win 1-0, to really put us in a position to win the Pac-12 championship that year. We didn't get it done on Sunday against USC. USC won the national championship, but we finished tied for second with USC. It was a great season, and like you mentioned, advanced the NCAA tournament. We got to host a very good Oklahoma State team, and got a couple goals early. They got a goal to make it 2-1, and Danica kind of clinched it off in style with a goal with 10 seconds to go. 3-1, great win before we advanced to play North Carolina in the NCAA tournament. But it was a great season, and it kind of turned us to the momentum that we have going now.
And then in 2017, another NCAA tournament appearance, another win over Denver, and just once again, just now at this point, the momentum is going, and NCAA tournament appearances become the norm.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great season. We lost a lot of players off that 2016 team, and obviously Danica with Orlando Pride, NWSL, Emily Bruder. We lost a lot of talented players from that group. So it was a bit of a rebuilding year, a little bit for us, and we started a little slow out of the gate, but we picked up some good momentum as we got through the season. And the danger is, you play Denver, who's very well coached and a very good team, and we beat them in the regular season. And then we turn around and play in the NCAA tournament. I want to say we beat them pretty handily in the regular season. I believe it was 6-1, if I remember correctly. I might have my years wrong, but now they're starting goalkeepers out and so forth. So, of course, we get in the NCAA tournament. So what happens? They score a very good goal, and we're losing 1-0 at halftime. But we came back out early second half. Megan Massey scored a very good goal, and then Taylor scored. And JJ made a couple of great saves late, including pushing one off the crossbar. got us the win as we advanced to the NCAA tournament, but it was kind of a little bit of a rebuilding year, a reloading year, and it was a great win of our great rival. And as you see probably from the highlights, a beautiful day in November. There was no snow that day. I remember that was a shorts and T-shirt day.
Yeah. 2018, beat number 7 Washington State at home. Washington State had been coming in high. 16-game unbeaten streak, record number of goals. Everything seemed to be going right in that season. Unfortunately, the pundits out there will say whether or not it was I can say it. It was, Buffs got snubbed in the NCAA tournament, but a great season and really, as you had mentioned, rebuilding and almost reloading when you had Jorian Bauckham was on that team after missing a season because of the ACL tear. They were lighting up, putting up big numbers early, and unfortunately just didn't finish well down the stretch. But a great season.
Like we always talk about, and this players are sick of hearing, of 335 teams in Division I, only one really can be happy at the end of the year. So you can't let it take away from it. And the fact that we were undefeated through 16 games, we'd come off a big 3-0 win against Cal. We ran into a team that would win the national championship in Stanford on their senior day. And then we turned around and came home and had 2 tight results against the Southern California teams and just couldn't get them done. So we were obviously disappointed that the season kind of ended at that time, even though we had our best regular season of my time here as far as results and non-conference wins and so forth. But that doesn't take away from the season. The school record in goals and assists and defensively and players performing well and All-Americans and everything. So it was a fantastic group, a very talented group. As we know, Aaron Greening got drafted from that group and is still playing with the Orlando Pride with Danica. So it was a great season. Didn't end how we wanted to, but a fantastic year. And
then, of course, this year the NCAA tournament hosting again, Northern Colorado in town. Timbo, I know, is a good friend of yours. 6-0, maybe a big number of goals, but really the team just was ready to play for the NCAA tournament, and they played well, and they earned the victory.
Yeah, and we were, we had a great non-conference season, but like you mentioned, 9 teams making the NCAA tournament. The league was brutal this year, as three Pac-12 teams in the Final Four, and it could have been 4. All 4 could have been from our league. So we felt we were going to get in, but once we got in, we were super excited, an opportunity to host, and Tim had a great year at Northern Colorado to win the Big Sky tournament, and it was just our day. I mean, we were on fire from the opening kick. Great crowd. I think it was one of the top 3 or 4 crowds since I've been here. And obviously Northern Colorado brought a lot of fans, but great goals we scored. And then, as we played some of our reserves, they came out and scored great goals. It was just it was our day, and it really built momentum as we headed into the second round against North Carolina. And, we dropped a 1-0 result to North Carolina, who obviously tied in the national championship, lost in penalties, and 1-0. And, we've talked a lot about JJ's performance in that match.
Honorable mention for top moment of the year there for sure. JJ's performance
unbelievable performance and how we defended and gave ourselves a chance late as we're pushing numbers for Taylor and some of our other players. It was a fantastic, play in front of 5,000 people at North Carolina. If you're going to go out, like I talked about the 2018 team, you want to go out on the field laying it all out there as a coaching staff, as players, as supporters and fans. You flew in the day of the game and flew out 8 hours after the game, but the commitment from all of our people, it was a great season, and we're really looking forward to what the 2020s will bring. It'll be interesting to see if
the Roaring 20s.
If we're going to, in 10 years from now, if we'll be still sitting here, Eric. What do you think?
There's part of me that hopes not. Like,
I would say
maybe I'll retire.
Don't bet on it, but I'm guessing that you'll see a lot of older, not as good looking, or not even as
uglier. Would have had to have been good looking to start to then be.
Yeah, so that's something to look forward to, fans.
Yeah,
10 years from now.
So sorry. We hope everybody has a happy New Year. Hopefully, you all had a great holiday season, and of course, soccer will be reporting for spring.
It's before you know it, a couple
weeks. So, so soccer will be back upon us. But we thank you for all your support all season. You can follow the Buffs all season. CUBuffs.com/soccer. Happy New Year, everybody.